Hey everyone, welcome back to another session with me. I am Sanyukta Saxena and today's session is about the Tangle Pinch. Yes, another Zentangle original, a very simple pattern to draw, very simple strokes, purely line based. Today we will be learning how to draw this pattern and we shall also be drawing a tile together using this pattern, a few more tangles to go along with it, right? So let us get started and learn how to draw the basic pattern pinch. So pinch is a pattern which is purely line based as I just told you, and it is generally drawn in a curved shape. Yeah. So what we see in the original tangle as given by Zentangle headquarters, it is generally arranged in a curved fashion. Yeah. Something like this or something like in a semicircle. Yeah, that's what gives the pattern its actual beauty, and we just have to draw squares, yeah, but in a curve form. So I'm just going to start with these squares like this. Yeah, so basically the arrangement is what gives the pattern its beauty. However, if you consider a single box, how do we draw the pattern pinch? A box, cross lines or diagonal lines, and then ink one section, any one of the sections, and then shade other two sections, high and low. Yeah, so I will add some dark, probably just color it with gray, and add some really light pencil here and blend it. So this is one component of the pattern pinch. Yeah, you can see the center is almost popping up because of the shading. So this is what I'm going to be drawing in each of these boxes. Yeah, so arrangement of boxes and the tangle, the look, the shading gives it the real character. So the boxes can be of any shape, size. They are to be square, but they can be of any size, and you can arrange it in any fashion. I'll show you an example. You can use it in a non-curvy fashion also, but then it will look like any other tangle. The look of this tangle comes from its arrangement also. Yeah. So if you see the original tangle pinch, then it is generally arranged in semicircles or circles, or 1/4 of a circle in this form, and you can continue like this. So you can see the size of the squares is coming down gradually. Yeah, and you can fill up some other tangle here and then add a cross in each of the squares, diagonal lines. Yeah, so simple pattern. Till now I have only drawn lines here, and I will finish with lines only. Nothing else required, inking and lines. That's all. That's the beauty of Zentangle patterns. Everybody can draw it. Yes. So I'll just zoom in a bit. Yeah. And then just ink one of the sections. You can pick any of the section. Accordingly, you'll shade the other two adjoining sections. Yeah. So again, inking adds that drama factor, that boldness to the tangle. Now the original tangle is like this, but you can always, there are 3 more sections, right? So you can play around. Possibilities are unlimited. So I'll just show you with one. This is the usual way to shade the tangle, but you can always go ahead and shade it like this on the top, or you can shade it like this. Whichever way you feel like. Yeah, I'll show you a few examples also. So you can also shade it like this without going into shading the cubes. Yeah. So let me just ink. So now that we have inked all the sections, we can just blend. So this is an alternative way to go about shading. So there are so many ways you can discover. Just go easy because you have inked sections here. Yeah, so this will give a high and low effect in a different way. And you can highlight the other part. Yeah, so that's also one way of shading, or you can shade each of the boxes like this. Let me show you a few examples how you can arrange it differently. So this is one of the tiles that I posted as a teaser. So you can see again 1/4 of a circle is pinch and a small embellishment, some lines instead of shading. Yeah, so that's one. Again in a circle, so this is a zendala which uses pinch as a border tangle. Yeah, two rows. Yeah, and simple tangles to go along. Another which uses half pinch and half Huggins, crazy Huggins, and a moon pie to go with it. So you can again see how you can use the same tangle. I have not played around much with the look of the tangle here. Today we will be playing around with the look of the tangle. Yeah, we'll try something new. This is again pinch in the center. So small little embellishment, added some dots. Yeah, and this is again the latest that I posted on my Insta. Pinch on the 4 corners, 3 rows, and few fragments to go along. Yeah, so many ways you can use the same tangle. So let's again today draw another new tile. So I've done some groundwork, some divisions have been made on the zendala. I'm using a round tile today, and I'm going to be starting with adding about 6 sections. Yeah, 6 sections here. So just taking this line as a base and then going with the border again, second section. Yeah, again third section. So this is just a string, but I am using it. I want it to be part of my tile, so I am going to ink it. Again the fifth section. Yeah, and the last section. So we have created some 6 sections here. Yeah, so let us alternatively use pinch. Yeah, if you find it difficult to give a curve to your squares, then you can always draw these lines for your reference, but it's not actually required. Once you start drawing it, you will realize that it's pretty easy because you always take cue from the box which is above. Yeah, so you have to reduce the size consecutively, yeah, every time. So how many? 1 2 3 4. So probably they need to be a little thinner. Yeah, and then this one, 1 2 3 and 4. Yeah, so somewhat groundwork for starting with your pinch. So this is not exactly a square. You can see that I'm kind of tapering it towards the lower part, yeah, because the shape of my section is such that it will be better if I taper it a little, yeah, so I can do more justice with the spaces like that. But it's entirely up to you. I realized it that if you draw it this way, then it would be little better, but you can always go ahead with exact squares, that's okay. But as you go to the next row, you will have to taper it a little, yeah. So it's also okay if you don't have one under the other and you skip and don't follow the sequence of one under the other, that's okay. I have done that and it looks fine, no problem, yeah. So just adjust to the spaces that is available, and if you still think that it's just not possible to draw in that much space, then you can always do something like this, what I have done here, yeah. You can add a different angle, just stick to 2 or 3 rows of pinch and then select a different angle, yeah. So that is also possible. So you can see here spaces have gone really small. So up to you, how do you want to go about it, yeah. I've given you the choice. So again I'm going to go to the next one. In the same fashion I'm going to draw the boxes. So drawing in this fashion gives it a kind of depth, yeah. So it is like going inside something, yeah. So if you choose to draw in this fashion, fine. If you don't, you want to just do away with one under each, so you can maintain the size of the boxes, that's fine. You can do it that way also. So tangles are suggestions, you don't have to strictly follow them. Just take the idea and go ahead with your own imagination, yeah. So again the third one. So spaces have shrunk, so again the fourth one. And the fifth one. Yeah, something like this. So I'll do exactly the same in the third one. So I'm done with that exercise, yeah. Now the next tangle, in rest of the 3 sections there are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from, right? So first let us move a little ahead with our pinch and add these cross first inside them. Yeah, the second step in the pattern pinch. So take your time and add these diagonal lines in all of the boxes patiently. Even if the spaces are pretty small. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and do the same for the others also. So done with that exercise, the next step is to ink. Yeah, simple step, simple tangle. And small little embellishment probably is to add the small crescent moon on the other three sides if there are spaces. Yeah, so I hope you can see clearly. Yeah, so this is the small little embellishment that I did. You can do whole lot of things here, so just play around. Yeah, so I'm just going to add this small moon on the other three sides and ink one side. So wherever generally there is inking involved in a tangle, I generally stick to it because it is pre-thought and it adds a lot of drama to the tangle. Yeah, so you can always play around, do away with the inking also, but then it may look like any other fragment and not the tangle pinch. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for all. Yeah, I think you got a hang of it. Simple exercise. So you can see here I am done with that exercise. Yeah, done the embellishment. I am now on the last one. So going to embellish in the same way each of the boxes. Two of the sections I have finished inking and embellishing. So small little things that you can do inside the three empty spaces, or you can also do away with the inking. It is entirely up to you. Yeah. So the rest of these spaces, there are a whole plethora of tangles that you can choose from. So select a tangle of your choice and just go ahead with it. I think I will be going with the tangle Tripoli. So where the spaces are left, I'm just going with some dots. Yeah. There is hardly any space there, so just taking it easy. Where there is space, just adding a small hump, otherwise just going with dots. Yeah, so now let us start with Tripoli, a similar tangle with triangles. So just in case you are not familiar with this tangle, please refer to my video. So I'm just building on these triangles, the main point being closely aura the triangle and then draw another one. I'm basically completing each flower, if you see, completely with concentration. Now working on this flower. Yeah, so completing each flower, just that you have to aura it closely, otherwise Tripoli will not get its look. Yeah, so you have to aura it closely and just build on it. It just keeps extending itself, so it's not any rule that you have to keep the triangles perfectly straight line based or anything like that. Just go with the flow. Yeah, that's about it. That's the pattern Tripoli. I'll do exactly the same for the others. Yeah, so I'm now on the third and the last section, drawing the pattern Tripoli. Yeah, close aura, complete the triangle, close aura, complete the triangle, close or complete the triangle. So just keep building on it like this. Yeah, I'm done with that exercise. We have added triply to the other 3 sections, right? So there are so many things that you can do inside the triply also. So let us keep it simple. Just add something like this, a small little hump. Yeah, so you can do a whole lot of things inside it, but I'm going to keep it simple since the attraction is the tangle pinch and not triply. Yeah, so again I'm going to add these small humps inside each of the triangles. So you can keep the triplies empty also, just shade it and it looks pretty nice, just like flowers arranged. Yeah, so need not necessarily add anything inside. So just adding a small hump. Yeah, so take your time and complete each section in the same fashion. Yeah, so I'm almost completing embellishing my triplies on the last few. Yeah, so same, adding a hump on each of the side and just inking it in. A simple exercise just to add to the look of your triply. Yeah, so as I told you already, shading pinch is pretty simple. If the squares are pretty big enough, then you can go into shading individual squares. However, in this tile, we don't think we can go into shading the individual, so we will shade it as a whole or probably on the lines. Yeah, so depends on each tile how you have gone about using the pattern, and accordingly the shading can vary. Yeah, so I'm just finishing with my triply and then we shall move on to shading our tile. Yeah, that's about it. Going to add some graphite as I showed to you on the top, because the graphite will show there. If I apply my pencil on the bottom of the squares, it won't show. Yeah, and then probably on one side. So that's how I'm going to shade it. You can even skip shading the very small ones because they will look entirely gray. So I'm not going there. So again, top, yeah, and then probably one side. Yeah, and the last one in the same fashion. And then just add graphite on one side. Yeah, Tripoli I'm going to shade as a whole, so I'm just going to darken the edges. I'm pressing really hard here, adding some thick graphite so that my center pops up. The classic pillow effect, if you remember. Yeah, so I'm just going to darken the edges and let the center show white, so the edges recede and the center pops up. Yeah, so that's the whole idea of shading in this fashion. So if you want, you can go into shading each element of the Tripoli also. So just add some light shading on this flower kind of shape that is formed inside. Even that is fine. Yeah, so done with that, let us now blend our Tripolis first. So just pull the graphite, make sure that the ink has dried up, so give that much time, otherwise you may damage your tile. So light strokes, circular strokes, just bring the graphite towards the center from the edges, but make sure that you don't make the entire center gray. Yeah, something like that. So that much needed depth comes only when both highs and lows are clearly visible. Yeah. So simple shading with Tripoli. Again the third section. So try using different tangles with pinch. Where I have used Tripoli, you can use a different tangle and see. You can go for some more organic tangles and see how does the look of the tile vary. Yeah. So that's about Tripoli, and now I'm going to smudge my pinch. So on the top, and on one side. So make sure that you leave one side white. Yeah, that's important. You don't want to cover up the whole thing gray. Yeah, so again the same thing. Blend the top first. Yeah, and then on one side. So take it easy, go slow, don't blend too much. As I told you, should not be entirely gray. So one part of the pinch should stay white. Yeah, and the third and the last. Yeah, that's about it. Now I'm going to use my chalk pencil, the last thing, and highlight the center. It's already highlighted, but chalk pencil highlights it a little more, makes it a little more obvious. Yeah. And then you can also use chalk on one side of your pinch, just a touch, not much, like this, to give that high and low effect. Yeah. So you can see there are so many ways to go about shading. So decide your own way depending on how you are using the pattern. Yeah. Just lightening one side where I have not used grey. Yeah, that's about it. If you want, you can add a little weight to the center lines. They will add to the look of the sections. Yeah, I'm adding a little weight to the center lines like this. So not much, just a little, because somewhere in the shading the divisions get absorbed, so you may want to highlight them or you may not. That's perfectly okay. And the last one. Yeah, that's about it. That's our tile for today. I'm now going to close my tile and initial it. So put your chalk, sign and date your tile. Put in a comment if you wish to. Yeah. So today is, I think, 25th of October 21. And take a moment to appreciate your tile. And we shall meet again with another new Zentangle original pattern. Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye. And just in case you have not become a member of my channel, please consider, because I have already posted one special series on the channel, and there will be many more such series coming up. Yeah. So take your time and do consider becoming up a member, and we shall meet again with another new Zentangle original. Till then, have a good time.